Hello, and welcome to the Fash English Academy Podcast, where we help you improve your English skills. In today's episode, we'll talk about daily routines. Discussing your daily routine is a great way to practice English and learn useful vocabulary and phrases. So let's get started. First, let's go over some common vocabulary and phrases related to daily routines. We'll break it down into different parts of the day: morning, afternoon, and evening. By the end of this episode, you'll have a better understanding of how to describe your daily activities in English. Wake up to stop sleeping. Example: I wake up at 6 a.m. every day. Get up to get out of bed. Example: I get up as soon as my alarm goes off. Brush teeth. To clean your teeth with a toothbrush. Example: after getting up, I brush my teeth. Take a break. To rest for a short period. Example: I take a break at around 3 p.m. Daily routines are something we all have, and they provide a perfect topic for practicing English. By talking about your daily activities, you can naturally incorporate a variety of common verbs and phrases into your vocabulary. Let's break down a typical day into 3 parts: morning, afternoon, and evening. I'll share some common activities and how you can describe them in English. Mornings are the start of the day, and many people have similar routines. Let's think about what happens from the moment you wake up. So let's imagine it's a typical weekday morning. The alarm goes off and you wake up. You might say, I wake up at 6 a.m. every day. After waking up, what's next? Most people get out of bed right away, so you could continue with, I get up as soon as my alarm goes off. Next, it's common to take care of some personal hygiene. You might brush your teeth and take a shower. For example, you can say, after getting up, I brush my teeth and take a shower. These actions are part of the morning routine for many of us. After that, getting dressed is usually the next step. You could say, then I get dressed for the day. Once you're ready, it's time for breakfast. I have breakfast at around 7 a.m. is a simple way to describe this. Finally, most people need to head out for work or school. So you might finish your morning routine with, I leave for work at 8 a.m. Putting this all together, your morning routine might sound like this. I wake up at 6 a.m. every day. After getting up, I brush my teeth and take a shower. Then I get dressed and have breakfast at around 7 a.m. I leave for work at 8 a.m. The afternoon is typically when we are most busy with work or school. Let's talk about some common activities that happen during this time. Alright, let's move into the afternoon. Around midday, it's time for lunch. You could say, I usually have lunch at noon. After lunch, the afternoon is often filled with various activities, whether you're working or studying. If you're working, you might attend meetings or focus on specific tasks. You can describe this as, in the afternoon, I attend meetings and work on projects. It's important to take a break during the day, so you might say, I take a break at around 3 p.m. This gives you a moment to rest and recharge. As the day progresses, you eventually wrap up your work. You could conclude with, I finish work at 5 p.m. This marks the end of the afternoon and the start of the evening. Putting this all together, your afternoon routine might sound like this. I usually have lunch at noon. In the afternoon, I attend meetings and work on projects. I take a break at around 3 p.m. and finish work at 5 p.m. Evenings are a time to relax and unwind after a busy day. Let's talk about some typical evening activities. Now let's talk about the evening. After a long day, it's nice to come home and relax. You might say, I come home at 5:30 p.m. Dinner is often a family affair, so you could describe it as, I have dinner with my family at 7 p.m. After dinner, people like to unwind in different ways. Some might watch TV or do some light chores. For example, after dinner, I like to watch TV and do some household chores. These activities help you relax and prepare for the next day. Before going to bed, many people have a routine to help them wind down. Reading a book is a common activity. You might say, before bed, I like to read a book. Finally, it's time to sleep, so you could conclude with, I go to bed at 10 p.m. Putting this all together, your evening routine might sound like this. I come home at 5:30 p.m. and have dinner with my family at 7 p.m. After dinner, I like to watch TV and do some household chores. Before bed, I read a book, and I go to bed at 10 p.m. That brings us to the end of today's episode. We've covered a lot, from morning routines to evening activities, and how to describe these parts of your day in English. I hope you found this episode helpful and that you'll feel more confident discussing your daily routine in English. Remember, practice is key. Try to use these phrases in your daily conversations or write them down to help reinforce your learning. Describing your daily routine can be a great way to practice speaking and writing in English. Thank you for joining me today on the Fash English Academy Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with others who might find it useful. Until next time, keep practicing and stay curious.